second there. All right. So I'm going to be creating a flow on Salesforce. So first of all, to create a flow, you would need to install the Whatfix flow editor, which you will see once you log into your Whatfix account. So I'm guessing Andrew has never Andrew, you've not signed up with your Whatfix account yet. Is that correct?
That's correct, yeah.
All right. Later on, I will send you the URL to sign up and also give you a write-up on how to sign up into your Whatfix account and download the Whatfix editor. So basically, it's a simple step. If I already have the editor sitting here as a orange plus icon, if you don't have it already, you would see a pink label saying install editor. So all you have to do is really click on it once you log into your account and then install it, and it will be sitting on your browser. So now I'm going directly into my Salesforce application. So my Whatfix editor is sitting right here. And to start creating a flow, I go ahead and click on this plus symbol here. So that opens up the Whatfix editor. So let me just pick up the flow that I want to create. Let me say that the flow that I want to create is on the campaigns page of Salesforce. So let me open that page. And then I want to start my flow from, let's say, click on add new. So I'm going to say click on new. And then I'm going to pick the appropriate position from here where I want to place my bubble tip, or the Whatfix tooltip as we call it. So it could be, since you have a lot of open space around this element, you could position it anywhere you like. So I'm just going to position it here, which Whatfix has picked up for me already. And since this is a clickable element, so basically when I click on new, it opens a new page for me and it's a clickable element. Whatfix has already identified that and it says on click of selected element. So I'm going to just keep it at that. And if I want to
Just
provide,
one
sorry?
here, yeah, just one question here about those options that you have.
Mm-hmm.
The one that I was a little confused about is on-page refresh.
Right.
Is it correct that, so in this case it would point to click on new, but if I click anywhere else, it will try to continue with the flow as long as I've moved on to a new page. Is that correct?
Okay, let me tell you the difference of these two things. So if I click on new, what happens if I'm going to say on click of selected element, Whatfix is going to wait for you to click on this particular element. Okay?
Yeah.
But if I say on page refresh, then it will just wait. If there is a page refresh happening after you click on the element, then Whatfix is going to continue playing your flow.
Right. So I don't have to click on that particular element though for a refresh to occur, right? Like I could just press
Right.
control. Yeah. Yeah. Okay. Okay, that makes sense.
So just a minute, Sneha. So just to give him an idea, can you go to leads? So let's show him an example.
Okay, just give me a second. I'll have to change my extension here.
I think that's fine. We can just show him. Yeah.
All right.
Yeah. So Adam, if you notice that Sneha is going to trigger a walkthrough. So Sneha, just go ahead and trigger how to merge duplicate leads, which is probably the 4th walkthrough in this list.
Yeah.
Yeah. Just follow the instruction. Click on leads, and yeah, just click on go. You can select that. So here, if you notice, at the bottom, there are a bunch of leads. So there are more than 50 leads that are available here. So wherever the user clicks, so whichever lead the user clicks, it refreshes the page, and that's how it goes to the next step.
Okay, I see. So that makes sense because we have we have, for example, an account selection screen that would have dozens of options in some cases. So I would
Yeah.
use that rather than try to get them to click on the first one on the list.
Yeah, yeah. So wherever you have a list wherein the user has to pick one from that list, so this is a good option.
Okay, that's great. Thank you.
Okay. So, so let me just run you through the different other options that we have for step completion. So in a scenario where you're dealing with a drop-down box, when you have multiple options that a user can choose from, in that scenario, it's best that you select on click of next button, because then the user can make his selection, and after making the selection, he can click on next to move to the next step. When you have a clickable element like the one right now, then you say on click of selected element. If your page supports hover and you want your user to move to the next step on hover, you can use the on hover option. Page refresh, like what she mentioned, if you have a bunch of options and you don't really know what the user is going to click on, then you can use the on page refresh option. And then the last one is on typing text. So this is appropriate when you have text boxes in your application and you want your user to move to the next step once the user completes a text box. So then you use on typing text. So now after you've put in the heading, which is click on new. Now if you want to add additional information for the user, then you can just put that under anything important to note. And then just add the step to save it. So that's my first step. So I click on that. And now my next step, which is a text box. So I'm just going to say add campaign name.
Was there a shortcut, like a key combination that you did instead of clicking add step?
No, nothing. I just clicked on it.
Oh, I didn't see it.
Okay. So add campaign name and again position it however you want to set up your tip. It's always good to position it in a way that it is not hiding any other element on your application. So maybe in this case I could just use it here. And then this one is on typing text. So I'm going to say on typing text because it's a text box. And if there's anything additional to write again, I can put it under anything important to note. And then I add a step. It's always a good practice to keep your flows as short as possible so that you don't have numerous steps at every point in your application. So if you think that it's your application is intuitive and your users are going to find their way, you can also just select probably like the entire box, just to say pick anything and pick all the content here, and once you're done, select OK. So let me just
Right.
make that a little, let me just try and see if I can get a better selection. Okay, so this one. So I can just say enter all the relevant details and then click on next to move to the next step.
You have a recommendation on how many steps starts to become too many in
Something
general?
more than 15, like in the range of 15 to 20 is the maximum number of steps you must ideally have, because then the user kind of would not continue with the flow if it's really large.
Yeah, yeah. I had one that was 50 steps.
What is that? Is that 50?
50
Oh,
steps.
that's a lot of steps, and I don't really know how many users will go through all of these steps.
So that one actually, I wasn't really expecting any users to use it, but what I wanted was the YouTube video that was created from it
Ah,
as a,
okay.
so that was a
See,
unique.
Adam, I think that's why one of these sessions are helpful. So Sneha is also going to show you, perhaps in a later, as to how you can link the relevant activities or tasks. So instead of building one long walkthrough, so you can build two or three walkthroughs and link them, one at the end of each other.
Cool.
Right, that's something that I'll be showing a little later after the flow creation. All right, and then let me just have one more step here because this looks like a drop down. So I'm going to just say select type. And because this is a drop down, it's always good to have it on next. Add step. And the next one would be the final step, which is click on save. And this, because it's a clickable element, I'm going to say on click of selected element. So I'm going to add that step. And then I'm going to just expand the flow that I just created to just see all the steps are in place or not. If I want to move some step, for example, maybe I added a step later on which I thought uh, was important, I can just move it by clicking on the move option here and then placing it elsewhere. If I want to make small edits to my steps, I can just click on that particular step and rephrase my words or change the tip position of the tip, change the selection option. All of this is possible on click of edit. And before I publish my flow, I'm also going to write the purpose of the flow. So this one is how to create campaigns. And then I'm going to publish this flow to save it. Now I'll just go back into my Whatfix account, do a quick reload. Here's the flow that I created. Now just to see how it works, I'm going to click on live. And there it is, my flow. Click on new, add campaign name, all other relevant details. Here there's a bunch of options, so maybe I'll pick something from here. And then I click on save. So to make this flow a little more dramatic or to make it more engaging for your users, you can also have, we have this tag called Spotlight tag, which you can use. So let me show you how that works. So I'm opening this flow again, and I want to make a small edit to this because I want to include a tag called Spotlight. So I'm going to say Spotlight, which is an inbuilt tag. And once I've done that, I want to save the changes that I've made by clicking on Publish Flow. And now I'm going to quickly do a live or see live option to see how my flow works and how it looks for the end user. And you can see now there is a difference in the way the flow behaves. You can see that the entire area in the background is darkened.
Oh wow. Is that new?
No,
I
it was
didn't
always
notice that.
there. Yeah, you have to add a tag called Spotlight to get this done. And then you can just say
But
next. It just
is
highlights. Sorry.
there a bunch of different tags like that exist?
Yeah, so
Like
this
that do
one's, yeah, so the Spotlight tag is one of the tags that's important because if you want to have a dramatic effect, so that's the tag that you must be using. All right, so that's
is there
how,
like the different types of tags, what they're called
what is that, Adam?
and what they do? Is there a database of the different tags, what they're called and what they do?
So when you log into your account, you will see some of the tags, some of the system tags and the tags that are available, that the user made tags. So when you're in your account
Mhm.
here, go into your tags, and I have a lot of them, but some of them are system tags. So maybe I can talk about those tags once I get access. Let me get into your account and then talk about those tags in detail. Okay. I have a lot of tags here, so I don't want to get into this. Okay, now that we've created our flow, the next thing what we want to do is make it more engaging. We've added the spotlight to make it engaging. Now we want to add more stuff to it. So one thing that we can do is add some kind of a video or this image to our flow. So this is in a way to reuse your existing content. So you might have some content that you've used, maybe some YouTube video, like you said before, which you want to add into your flow for the users to view. So here's how you can do that. Let's imagine I'm going to go to a Whatfix video very quickly. And this is the video that I want my users to see. So let me just pick another video. Looks like this video is not playing right. So here in the embed option, I click on embed, and then in the video, I have the video link, right? So I'm going to copy this video link and then go back into my flow that I created, which is how to create campaigns. And I can either add it at the beginning or I can add it in any of the steps. So let me just add it on one of the steps. And this is the nomenclature that you generally follow. We start with 3% symbols, followed by the link that we just copied, the embed link, and then we close it with 3% symbols. Save that step and publish the flow. And you will see the video here.
Oh, okay.
And if you do a see live of the same thing, then you have the video first, and then the user can actually go through the video and then get into the flow, completion of the flow. And you can also watch it in full screen. Okay. So that's a video, and if it could even be an image, not necessarily a video. And also, if probably you want a user to go to a support link or a page where there are certain set of instructions that the user must read before completing the flow, you can even insert that link inside your flow step.
Okay.
So to insert a link, an external link on inside of your flow step, this is the nomenclature that we follow. So go to edit and then click on this, and maybe we can just say HTTPS. Let's say we want to just go to google.com. Google.com. Save that step and publish the flow. And there you have the link. Do you see the link?
Yep. Yep.
And that takes you to that particular link. So do you see yourself using these features in your in your flows, Andrew?
Yeah, I don't know, but I'm trying to picture how I would use a video on there without confusing people a little bit more. But potentially, yeah.
But I think these videos are very powerful when it's used as an onboarding pop-up. When you want new users or existing users to see some kind of a change that has happened in the application, you can have a pop-up with the video and say, hey, these are the changes that has happened in the application. And to go through this, click on the flow and we'll take you through the entire process. So it makes more
Right.
sense. It's more powerful when you have it as a pop-up.
Right. Yeah, that makes sense.
Okay, so that was about adding existing content into your flows. The other aspect is how to display different flows to different users. So in your application, tell me, are there going to be different users, or would it be the same set of users and you want to show the same set of flows to all users?
There will definitely be different users, yeah.
Right. So, and is that information available to through maybe through the code or through the UI, the look and feel of the UI? Is it different?
We well, the look and feel will mostly be the same.
Mm-hmm.
But for example, we might be onboarding sales reps with a certain set of flows and customer care reps with a different
So
set
that
of
information
flows.
is available to us on in the application that this guy is a sales rep, or is it available in the backend? How does it work?
It's in the So the user will log in first, and in that information, we would be
Perfect.
able to identify based on
Okay.
username.
All right. So I'll just show you how the this distinction of flows work. So let me just
Mhm.
go into my demo account very quickly. Let's go back to the leads page. So you'd see that the leads page has all the flows that are relevant to leads section, right? So how to enter leads in Salesforce, how to assign leads. So all these are very specific to this particular page. This is because we have segmented the flows in such a way that only the right flows pop up in the right space. Now, if I had
Mhm.
to go to another page, let's say maybe opportunities. Sure, if I have flows there. All right, let's go to reports. Sorry. Yeah. So you can see now the way we've configured the self-help is also a little different, because that was the leads was blue, and now we've color changed the color, the look and feel of the self-help. And also if you look at the flows that are within it, they're all very specific to this particular page of our application. So
Okay.
likewise, you can break your flows by the page that the user is on. You can break your flows by the user type, or you could even have a combination of these two items.
Yeah.
The next one is how to make some steps optional. So I'll just give you an example of this. So let's say I'm on the leads page here, and I'm going to run a flow, how to enter leads in Salesforce. Now you'll see that my first step is to click on the new button here, right? So I do that, and my second step is to select something from the lead status. Now let's imagine that our user is already on this page, and now he's running this flow from this page. So it makes no sense for him to go back one step and click on new and then come back here, because that's going to make it redundant, right?
Right.
So for that, what we can do is we can skip certain steps. So now if I run this flow from here, it's going to start the flow directly from the second step.
Uh,
So this is how this is done by skipping the steps. So in your application, when you're building your flow, you have an option at every step to make it optional. Right here, you have this option called, is this step optional? You say yes, it is optional. But the thing about,
so typically,
yeah, sorry.
these- so typically it's the beginning steps in a process that are
Right.
optional, and
Yeah.
okay.
And this is something, what you have to bear in mind when you are skipping steps is that the step is not visible to the user at all. Like in this case, the new button is no longer visible to the user, right? It's not a part of the UI, current UI.
Mhm.
So you have to keep in mind that that particular element is not available on the UI to skip that step.
Right.
Next is how to make Whatfix strictly identify elements. So you would notice that maybe I don't, because you've already created a few flows. I don't know if you've come across this experience that sometimes, although you've created a flow and you want it to point to a specific element, it's not really pointing to that element, but pointing to a similar looking element, maybe close to it or somewhere around it. Has that ever happened to you?
Yeah, absolutely.
So Whatfix also provides this additional functionality with which you can completely freeze the element that you want your flow tip to pick. So we have this option called CSS selector. To get the CSS selector, you basically select the element that you're targeting, click on inspect, and in if you look at the console window, this highlighted area relates to this particular field. So all you have to do is do a right click on it, copy and copy selector. and then place this selector inside of the step. So every step you can also give an additional information, pass an additional information to the step saying, let me define rules for step appearance, and then I say select CSS selector, and then I can just pass this CSS selector so that Whatfix identifies the element correctly and there is no other element being picked up, and it is exclusively that element that gets picked up by the pip. This happens rarely, but it does happen, and so when it happens, you know what to do with it. You have to just pass a CSS for that element. Okay.
Okay.
Okay, the last thing is that I want to show you is how to show related flows. This is an answer to the question where you have a flow with 50 steps in it. So what a good solution to this would be to break down this large flow into smaller flows and then connect them one after the other. Okay, so here's how you do it. Let's say I want this welcome to Salesforce. I want this flow. Let's run this flow very quickly. So here's a small 3-step flow. And now at the end of this flow, I want to tie the flow that I just created, which is how to add campaigns. So this way I'm breaking down my large flow into smaller flows. So what I do is basically I go into the flow that I want my user to see first, which is welcome to Salesforce, open it in edit mode, and at the end of this flow, I give the link to my next flow. So here is the nomenclature for that. I create a little button and then I set the link. So here is my button. So inside the button title, I'm going to say, check out the next flow. So that creates a small button for me at the end of my flow. And then I'm going to tie the flow ID of my next flow, which my user must see. So every flow that you create will have a unique identifier, which is the flow ID. And you will see it when you open the flow in edit mode, and it will be in the URL. So the flow ID for my current flow is this one here, which is highlighted in the URL. Okay. But now I want to tie my another flow to this one. So I'm going to pick the flow ID of my next flow. So I'm going to very quickly publish this one and go fetch the flow ID of my how to create campaigns flow. So here's how to create campaigns. I'm going to click on view to open the flow in view mode. Pick up the identifier that uniquely identifies this flow. Copy that. Go back into my first flow, open in edit mode, go to the point where I had created my little button, and then I'm going to just replace the flow ID with the actual one. I'm going to say publish flow.
So I suppose that you could have more than one button
Absolutely.
if you had two options.
Right.
Okay.
If you had two what, Adam?
So if you had two directions that a user might want to go in, you give them two buttons to choose from. Oh, there you go.
And there's a button. So if I click on this button, that's going to take me to the next flow. So let's see how this works in action. Let me just click on this one and run it in live mode. See live. And there's my first step, my second step, my third step. And then I say, check out the next flow, and that opens up a new flow altogether. Okay. So this will solve the problem of having a large flow. At least you know that a user would complete maybe the first flow and the second flow, because the user knows, oh, the first flow is only 10 steps. Maybe I'll just have a look at the second flow. And then, that kind of engages the user and motivates him to complete the 50-step flow.
Can you go back to your welcome to Salesforce flow editor page?
Right.
And on where you had that button on that last page, if you go to that preview on the last slide.
Is this the one?
Yeah. So the more flows part,
Mm-hmm.
is that automatic? I don't remember seeing that online, but maybe it was there. Is
Oh,
that
this
just
one.
automatically?
Oh, this is
So,
something that's available in the slideshow option. Yeah. This doesn't happen
oh,
on the live run. It doesn't happen on the live run. It's just a part of the slideshow.
okay, okay. So anything I want to say at the end needs to be in the buttons basically at the top.
Yeah, right. So this doesn't show up to the user. It's just this one. So you basically have to create a few buttons if you want to have multiple flows.
Okay.
Okay. So those were the things that I wanted to cover, and I also know that you were very keen on having the self-help guide on your application. So I kind of built one for you, and here it is.
Oh,
This
cool.
is your application, right? And
Yeah.
then here I have a self-help here for you, and I'm just pulling out all the flows that you've created in here.
Mhm.
Okay, so I think I can also set this up for you. Um would you like that?
To set it up for us? What do you mean?
Yeah, yeah, like send you this extension. So this is running through an extension. So
Oh, okay.
only the guys who have the extension will be able to see these flows on their application, on their shop.cardinalhealth.ca page.
So yeah, sure, that'd be fantastic. If I'm testing out a workflow,
Right.
I know that I'm able to test it out. Am I able to share a test with somebody else? Like if I want Andrew to test it out,
Absolutely.
uh, I guess yeah.
So once Andrew gets the sign up link and he signs up, he will be able to see all the flows that you have created. All right. So
Mhm.
he would also have this access to the same account that you have access to.
Right.
So under all flows, he
Well,
will be able to see all the flows that has been created.
but he would need to have an account. It wouldn't be enough for him to just have the plugin installed,
Of
or
course,
would it be?
we can have the plugin installed. So if I will send this extension to both you guys, and Andrew can just click on the self help and see the flows from here as well.
Sure. Okay.
All right.
So then to answer your question, Adam, like it's just like everyone who would be testing would need to have that feature installed, right?
Yeah. Right.
Exactly.
So let me just send it to you right away, Andrew and Adam. Just give me a second. Andrew, can you drop me your email address in the chat? I have Adam's. I don't have yours, Andrew.
Sure.
Just give me 1 second. I'm going to send it to you. There you go. I've just transferred it to you. You should receive it. It's going to be coming from WeTransfer. So just look out for an email from WeTransfer. Just writing it
Okay.
for you in the chat.
Okay. I got it.
Okay, maybe you, Adam, can you share your screen so that I can tell you how to install it?
Sure.
Okay, making you the presenter. You would have to download the Whatfix, the GoToMeeting.
Uh, you did?
Yep, I think I see your screen. Yes.
This is zip file. I need to install this.
Oh, it's coming. It's Can you unzip it?
I think I need another program like 7-zip to unzip it.
Okay. So meanwhile, I think I'll also send Andrew the URL to sign up. There you go, Andrew. I've just dropped the URL where you can sign up for your Whatfix account.
Okay.
Okay.
What program should I use to download that file?
Do you have a zip extractor or a 7-zip?
Uh,
I don't think you do. I didn't. You have to
What did
download.
you use?
I used 7-zip. So if you Google 7, the number, and zip, and then download the 64-bit version, it should open. So I have the folder downloaded and unzipped. What do I do with
Okay.
it?
So if you have the folder downloaded and unzipped, then you can go into your Chrome extensions. So this, yeah,
Extensions, yeah.
yeah,
Oh yeah. I need to move.
load unpacked extension, and then just load that.
Where did I unpack it to? Let me just put it here.
Okay, perfect. So now you can go into your application and do a quick reload, and you should be able to see the widgets right there.
Yeah.
Yep, there it is. And
Cool.
in fact, you can also do a lot of, if you want to customize it, in terms of the color of this widget, you can go into your Whatfix account
Uh,
and go into, can you click on the cog next to your name? Cog next to your account. Yeah. On the cog. Yeah. And then go into theme, and then go into, yeah, so this is where you can set up your tooltip, and then this is where you can set up the positioning and everything else of the.
right. Okay. Great. Um, so we're going to be using this in our test environment first, which is this address, so slightly different.
Okay.
Um,
Can you send me the address so that I can send you an updated extension?
sure. In fact, there's two others. There's our test and our stage environments. So I'll send you both of them.
How is it different?
So test connects to. What do you mean? How is the URL different?
Yeah.
Oh yeah. So I'll send you both
Okay.
URLs.
Okay.
Do I?
And I'll try and see if I can build you an extension that can take care of both your test and your dev at the same time.
Yeah. Maybe if. Do I have your email address, Dina?
No, you don't. But I'll write you an email shortly. So
Yeah. Okay. I'll reply with the two addresses.
yeah, it's here in the chat if you want it.
There is definitely like the addresses are very similar. So
Okay.
maybe we could make one that applies to both or something. So for the flows that appear here are labeled published. Is that correct?
Yeah, right now all the flows that are within your account, you will be able to see it on all of the pages that all of the the URL, all the pages with shop.cardinalhealth.ca pages.
So if I wanted to exclude checkout from this page, for example,
Mm-hmm.
uh,
All
can I
right.
just modify the checkout one?
Yeah, so what you can do is you can actually do a little bit of experiment there, Adam.
Mhm.
Let me tell you how you can do that. Can you go into your Whatfix account? Okay, and there is something called as widgets there on the right hand, on your left hand side, right? Yep. Then click on self help,
Mhm.
and then you can add a new segment there. And in the segment, you don't have to really, yeah, you can just say for all pages for now. This is the idea here is, you can just break it down into different pages. So you don't want to put any specific rule because it's going to be across all pages. And then in the content, you can say select flows and then add. And then you can say select all, or yeah, depending on how you want to do it.
Okay.
And then once you're done, just click on save. And give me one moment here. I just need to change something here.
Mhm.
Just for me. Okay, you done there? You saved that stuff? All
Yep.
right. Can you do a quick reload? Does it have all the flows that you wanted them?
Oh yeah, perfect.
All right. You can
So I
also, yeah. So you can also order these flows if you want. If you go into content and then you can just click on, yeah, you can just click on any one element. Let's click on one now. Just select one. Yeah, perfect. That's how you can order it.
great. So now I could select. Do you want to change the selection? So I could select all flows again.
Absolutely, yeah.
And then save. Cool, that's great. So what did you do? You on the widget itself, you changed the tag to acknowledge this page or something like that?
So there's a little bit of so what we're trying to do is that now Whatfix is bringing everything to the UI, right?
Yeah,
So
yeah,
what I had done is I'd set up a little bit of code in the background, which I took off because you're just starting with the UI. So everything's going to work for you from the UI.
great. Okay. What does this do? Oh,
So
here's how I can also change the
yeah,
layout.
yeah.
Great. That's very cool. Andrew, did you get your download working?
No.
No. Is it blocked? It doesn't let you download programs, probably.
Yeah.
I don't know. I got lucky. They let me install programs.
You have to
Um,
work hours away from here, and you can't drop by, right? That's why.
um, I might be able to share the folder with you directly, actually, on the shared drive. So I'll show you how to do that afterwards.
Sure.
Cool. So what's next for us?
I think the next step would be for you to create flows, and
Mhm.
which you've already done. So I'm not really sure if these are going to be your final flows.
No, they're not. I was just playing around with most of
Okay.
them.
So yeah, let's.
Um,
Yeah, I think you're going to be going live with the first 5 flows, right?
something like that. Well, I think we're going to get this embedded in our test environment. So I'll send you the links.
Sure.
And what we're going to do is we'll have a couple of people in our customer care team try them out on their computers.
Mm-hmm.
And if that goes well, then we will roll it out to the sales team. And if that goes well, then we will probably publish it to logged in customers, B2B
Perfect.
customers.
Perfect. Sounds like a plan.
Yeah. So that's great. I'm going to definitely break up my flows into smaller pieces and chain them together like you suggested. I think that's going to be much
Sure,
easier.
sure. So I'll wait to hear from you on the links, and I'll write you an email so that you know my email address, and we'll take it from
Yep,
there. Okay?
sounds good.
All right.
And
Yeah.
yeah, how does the consultation kind of aspect work? I know that my boss is going to ask, when we're getting charged more for certain things. Can I just reach out to you and ask you questions, or do we need to set up formal sessions? And is there any cost associated with that?
So I think you're well acquainted with our intercom facility.
Right.
I remember you sending some kind of query to Shri on intercom. So you can reach out to us on intercom, or you can just write me an email, and
Mhm.
we can set up calls if there is any need for a call. We can set up calls, or we can just email back and forth and solve queries. It's
So any support that you provide us is included in the cost that we've already
Yeah,
part of our
that's
contract,
right.
or
That's right. Yeah, that's included.
okay, great,
Awesome.
fantastic. Thank you very much.
Yeah. Thank you for
Thank you.
coming in. Bye, Adam and Andrew.
Thanks.
Bye, Steve.
Have a great day.
Bye. You too.